Okay, so what's gonna happen in the next week or so is every day we're gonna do a book type video. We're gonna do the book tag, and then each day will be a tag. Now, hello, welcome back. Today we're going to do the 10 most influential books, or your favorite books. The first book I have is Pish Posh by Ellen Potter. I've read this multiple times since 3rd grade, and it's really good. If it doesn't look like it, but it deals with a lot of interesting reincarnation type of themes in it. The next one we have is The Thief Lord by Rick Riordan. This book, you can tell how much I love it by how bad it's in shape it is. Considered like my Harry Potter for people. I wasn't into Harry Potter, but then Percy Jackson's one of the most, like, that's the analogy that you can make between the books and how much it impacted my life in a significant way. If I hadn't picked this book up, I would never have gotten into the world of Percy Jackson or internet or anything. This is one of the first fandoms that it was actually in, and I was on the internet with it, and without this book and picking it up, I wouldn't have met all my friends on the internet. The next one we have is The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster. This is the one I read when I was little, and you can tell it got sun damage. About the same time as I was reading Percy Jackson, I also found Cornelia Funk and all her works. I've read most of her works, and The Inkheart is the first, back in 2009, the first book to movie adaptation that I watched, and I was disappointed, so it just... Oh, and it was also one of my first series that I've read huge books. So that's that. And The Thief Lord is also one of my early favorites. This is Unwind by Neil Shusterman, and it's one of the 2 books that I've actually cried in. That is very important to me because I don't usually cry in books. And Neil Shusterman is another one that I've read almost all of his works, and is one of my favorite authors. So the next ones we have are classic books. Which I had to read for high school was Life of Pi. Changes your perspective on how people associate themselves and trying to identify themselves with religion, trying to figure out how to be open to other people's differences. How stories can sometimes be fiction or real, and you still, either way, if they're real or not, can still affect you. It also is a good movie too. The second classic that I have that I actually really like is Emma. I didn't have to read this for school, Bonnet Sisters and stuff, but then I read Jane Austen's work, and I'm just this is the closest character you can get to me as a person, relationship-wise and just independence, and it's really fun read. I would recommend it. Next we have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This one is it's a really creepy book, but it deals with how society shuns and how people can go to such great lengths to be judgmental of others. The next one is Pantomime by Laura Lam, one of the first books where I was like, this is written beautifully. And I know a lot of people say a bunch of books are they've just written so well, but this one is the only one that I think absorbs that kind of beautiful. It's a newer book. It just came out in 2013. The second one, Shadowplay, also just came out in January. So they're really good, and I recommend it. It's set in a circus, so that's I like my circuses. It deals with people trying to cope with differences in others and how to be more accepting and just going with life and how you identify yourself. One of my favorites. It's so good. The next one, I don't have it with me because I don't like it, but it's the Sophie's Choice by, I don't know, some guy. Sophie's Choice. I'll put it here. Sophie's Choice. I picked it for my English class that I had to take, and I had to write a term paper on it. The relationships in the books is what I would not want to have at any point of my life, and how you just gotta be independent and not dependent. It's also the second longest book that I've read. Of course, the biggest longest book that I've ever read was Atlas Shrugged by Anne Rand. This is 1,000 and 1,068 pages long, and I over summer, like 2 summers ago, and so we just have to include it because it's my biggest one. So yeah, so that's all the books that have impacted my life significantly. For the people I'm going to tag Bethany! And you'll see Bethany on the next video. We basically have the whole bean to ourselves. We got the whole